Throughout history, various cultures have devised extraordinarily cruel methods of execution and torture, each designed to inflict maximum suffering and terror on the condemned. These methods reflect not only the brutal nature of historical punishments, but also the lengths to which societies went to maintain control, instill fear, and exact retribution. Here are 5 of the most notorious and agonizing forms of death ever used. Impalement was a particularly horrific method involving the insertion of a long, sharp stake through the victim's body, typically starting at the rectum or vagina and exiting through the mouth or shoulders. The victim was then left to die slowly over several days, enduring excruciating pain as the stake gradually penetrated their body, causing severe internal injuries and prolonged agony. This method is most famously associated with Vlad the Impaler, who employed it to instill terror in his enemies and assert his dominance. The breaking wheel, also known as the Catherine wheel, was a medieval European execution method where the victim was tied to a large wheel and bludgeoned with a heavy iron bar or club. The wheel would often be turned slowly to prolong the victim's suffering. Used notably by the Romans and later by various European states, this method inflicted immense pain through repeated blunt force trauma and fractures, with the slow, methodical nature of the torture extending the suffering. Scaphism, or the boats, was an ancient Persian execution method that involved trapping the victim between 2 boats or hollowed tree trunks. The condemned was force-fed milk and honey and left to fester in filth while being eaten alive by insects and vermin. Employed by the Persians, this method inflicted unbearable suffering through disease, insect bites, and extreme exposure, leading to a slow and agonizing death. The Brazen Bull was a hollow bronze statue shaped like a bull, used as a method of execution in ancient Greece, particularly by the tyrant Phalaris of Acragas. The condemned was placed inside the bull, and a fire was lit underneath. The heat from the fire caused the bronze to become intensely hot, roasting the victim alive. This method resulted in a torturous and fiery death, with the victim being slowly and painfully cooked inside the metal container. Lingchi, or death by 1,000 cuts, was a Chinese method of execution involving the gradual removal of portions of the victim's body over a prolonged period. This process, which could last for hours or even days, involved making cuts to different parts of the body. Employed during various Chinese dynasties until it was officially abolished in the early 20th century, Lingchi was notorious for its slow, methodical dismemberment, causing excruciating pain and suffering over an extended period. These methods serve as grim reminders of the lengths to which past societies would go to punish and terrorize, highlighting the extreme cruelty that characterized some historical practices of justice and control.